You are the most powerful drug lord in the Western Hemisphere. You control more territory than most countries. You have more soldiers than some armies. The American government has put a $15 million bounty on your head, and you slept perfectly last night. You are 47 years old. You have not left this compound in 4 years. Your children do not know your real name. Your wife has not seen your face in 14 months. 3 of the men who ate breakfast with you this morning are informants for the DEA, and you already know which 3. You know because at every rank below you, you were one of them. This is how you got here. Welcome to every rank in the Mexican cartel. You are 11 years old the first time they approach you. Not a man in a suit, not a recruiting office. A boy 2 years older than you who you already know from the corner where you sell stolen phone chargers after school. His name is Chucho. He has new shoes. He always has new shoes now, and 6 months ago he had no shoes at all. He says one sentence, "I know someone who needs runners." That is your application process. That is the interview. One sentence from a boy with new shoes on a corner in Culiacan, Sinaloa, where the cartel is not an organization you join. It is the weather. It is simply there, every day, in every direction, and the only question is how deep into it you go. You are a halcon, a hawk, the lowest rank in the entire structure. You do not carry drugs. You do not carry weapons. You are 11 years old and you carry information. You stand on corners. You watch for police cars, for military convoys, for unfamiliar faces in familiar streets. When you see something, you send a message on a cheap phone to a number you have memorized. You never save the number. You never write it down. You are a pair of eyes on a corner, and you earn the equivalent of $10 a day. $10 a day is more than your father makes. You tell your mother you found work helping at a shop. By 13, you have been promoted. You are now a puntero, a point man. You still watch and report, but now you are responsible for a small team of younger halcones on your block. You manage their schedules. You collect their reports. You pass information up the chain. You earn $40 a day. You also know things now that you cannot unknow. You know what happens to halcones who talk to the wrong people. You know because Marco, who was 12 and who lived 3 streets from your house, talked to the wrong people. Marco is not on his corner anymore. Nobody talks about Marco. His mother moved away. That is the only announcement his death received. You understand the rule now, not because anyone explained it. Because Marco's empty corner explained it better than any conversation could. You keep your mouth shut, you keep your eyes open, you move up. At 15, you become a sicario apprentice. This is the rank most people think of when they think of the cartel, the enforcer, the soldier. But what nobody tells you about becoming a sicario is that the first months are not violent. They are boring. You drive cars, you move packages, you stand outside buildings for 12 hours holding a radio. You are learning the geography of the operation, the routes, the safe houses, the timing of police patrols. You are also being watched. Every day, every choice, every reaction is being evaluated by men above you, who say very little and see everything. Chucho moves through this rank beside you. He is still the boy with new shoes, except now he is 17, and the shoes are expensive, and the laugh is slightly different from how it used to be. Something in the laugh has been replaced with something else. You have both changed in ways you cannot fully name. At 16, you carry out your first assignment. This script will not describe what that assignment is, not because it is secret, because you already know, and because the specific detail matters less than what it cost you afterward. What it costs you is 3 nights of not sleeping and a conversation with Chucho at 4 in the morning where neither of you says anything useful and both of you understand that you are past a door that only opens one way. You earn $2,000 for that assignment. You do not feel rich. You feel like you have paid for something rather than been paid for something. You just do not know yet what you paid for. I want to stop here for a moment, because when I was researching this story, the thing that kept striking me was not the violence. It was the age. The average age of entry into cartel structure in Sinaloa and Michoacan is between 11 and 14. These are children who are recruited not with promises of power, but with promises of $10 a day, in places where $10 a day is the difference between eating and not eating. The cartel does not prey on ambition, it preys on hunger. And in the states of Mexico, where the cartel operates most deeply, the choice between hunger and this is not a dramatic moral crossroads. It is Tuesday morning. That does not make what happens next anyone's fault but the people at the top. It does mean that the person at the bottom of this hierarchy is almost never who we imagine when we imagine a criminal. They are usually a child who needed shoes. At 18, you are a full sicario. You have a team of 4 men. You have a specific plaza, a specific territory, a specific set of targets and routes and schedules that belong to you. You earn between $3,000 and $8,000 a month depending on the work. You also spend that money faster than it arrives. This is deliberate. The men above you know that a sicario with savings starts thinking about exits. A sicario with debts, with a lifestyle that requires this income, with a family that has grown accustomed to this standard of living, has no exit. The spending is not recklessness. It is a financial trap, and it is designed that way. Chucho is now your second in command. He has a daughter. He named her after his mother. He keeps her photo in his jacket pocket on the left side, close to where he keeps everything else. He talks about getting out sometimes. Not seriously. The way people talk about things they know will not happen. You both know the conversation is not real. You let him have it anyway because he is the only person left who remembers who you were before any of this. At 22, you are a plaza boss. You control a specific geographic territory for the cartel. Everything that moves through your plaza, every gram, every shipment, every bribe paid to every police officer and local official, flows through your hands first. You take a percentage. You send the rest up. Your income is now between $50,000 and $200,000 a month. You have bodyguards now. You have a house that nobody knows about and an apartment where people think you live. You have 3 phones. You never use the same route twice. You eat at restaurants only when you have confirmed the kitchen staff have been checked. You have not sat with your back to a door since you were 19. A rival plaza sends a message through an intermediary. They want a meeting. They want to discuss territory. You send your own intermediary back with a counterproposal. The counterproposal is rejected. 3 days later, 2 of your men do not come back from a routine delivery. You find out what happened to them. You respond. The response is disproportionate on purpose. In your position, disproportionate is the only response that buys you time. Chucho handles the logistics of the response. When it is over, he sits in your kitchen at 3 in the morning and he says something you have never heard him say before. He says he is tired, not sleepy tired, the other kind. The kind that sleep does not fix. You tell him to take a week, go see his daughter, come back when he is ready. He never comes back. You find out 6 weeks later through a contact in the federal police. His daughter's mother had been talking to investigators. Chucho did not know. The organization found out before he did. He was not given the chance to explain. In the cartel, there is no process for explaining. There is only what you did and what happens next. He had her photo in his jacket pocket when they found him. Left side, close to where he kept everything else. You do not attend anything. There is nothing to attend. You go back to work because there is nothing else to go back to. At 31, you are a regional director. You no longer manage individual plazas. You manage the people who manage plazas. Your decisions affect thousands of people across multiple states. Your name is known to the DEA, to the FBI, to Mexican Federal Intelligence. Your photograph is on walls in government offices in 3 countries. You communicate through intermediaries. You meet with no one directly. You trust no one completely. You have not trusted anyone completely since Chucho, and that was 10 years ago now, and you have learned to treat the absence of trust as simply how things are rather than as a loss. Your income is now theoretical. You have so much money moving through so many accounts in so many countries that the number has stopped meaning anything. Numbers mean something when they represent a choice between having and not having. At this level, the number is just a number. You have everything. You are profoundly alone in the way that only people with everything can be. At 47, you are El Señor, the boss. The top of the structure that 11-year-old you looked up at from a corner in Culiacan without being able to see the top because the top was so far above the corner that it existed in a different world entirely. You know what is at the top now. At the top, there is a compound you cannot leave. There are children who do not know your name. There is a $15 million bounty that means every person you have ever met is a potential transaction. There are 3 informants at your breakfast table, and you know which 3 because you have become so good at reading people that you can no longer be surprised by them, and being unable to be surprised by people is its own kind of prison. There is no retirement from this rank, no pension, no exit interview. The men who held this position before you either died in this position, or they are in a maximum security prison in the United States, serving sentences that will outlast their grandchildren. You knew this when you were a halcon on a corner at 11 years old. Some part of you knew. The boy with the new shoes made it look like a beginning. It was never a beginning. It was always just a corner with a price tag you could not read yet. The Mexican drug trade generates between $19 and $29 billion annually. The people at the top of that number live the way you just heard. The people at the bottom are children who needed $10 and found someone willing to pay it. Every hierarchy has a bottom that makes the top possible. This one just makes that fact impossible to ignore.